Hi, I'm Lance.
And I'm Joe.
And we're the SAR Guys.
And today we're going to talk about the use and overview use of the Stokes Litter, of how we put a patient in it and then how we move it.
As always, we want to remind you that this is what our team does and this is the gear that our team uses. Make sure that you know what your team requires and the policies and procedures that are around your SAR organization. One of the treats that we get to share with you today is our buddy Bruce. Bruce has been part of our organization for a long time. He's one of our coordinators, and he's just been part of our SAR organization for a long time. Wealth of knowledge, and so we're happy to be able to have him come and help us with this video.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to put somebody into the Stokes basket, get them strapped in properly, and that way they're packaged up and ready to move. So in this case, we've already got our person who, regardless of whatever is going on with them, they're in the basket. We have to carry them out, and this is how we're going to have to do it. So we put the foot end down here on this end, and what it is it's got a little board on the back. What that does is that keeps them from sliding down as you're carrying them. And you're moving them. If you're going uphill, you always go uphill head first, and when you go downhill, you go downhill feet first. That way they're not completely upside down and they don't feel like they need to reach out and grab stuff or anything like that. So the orientation is very helpful for them and for you. So the first thing we're going to do is let's everyone kind of get around, and we're going to strap him in. And what we're going to do on the top part is, Kelly, you and Lance are going to crisscross your straps across his chest. And Ann and Molly, you guys are just going to go straight across with your straps across his legs. And the reason we crisscross the top straps across the chest is one of those will probably end up near somebody's neck, and we don't want that to happen. And we want them to be secure. Their torso is the thing that's basically weighs the most on every person. So we want to make sure that that is strapped in the best we can. One of the things that you want to consider when you're putting the person in here is what to do with their arms. One, we don't want them reaching out and grabbing stuff, but if they're comfortable enough and they don't feel like being completely bound down to the basket, you can actually leave them out and just have them hold them across their chest. If there's an injured arm, we're going to go ahead and take care of that injured arm. They may have to use the other arm to actually hold that arm, and that gives them something to do with their hands and their arms, and that way you're not actually giving them that kind of a claustrophobic feeling by just strapping them down to where they can't move. Some people don't like this position, so be reassuring to the person to let them know, hey, this is just temporary, this is just to get you out of here. Once we get up to a spot where we can actually take you out of here and put you in an ambulance, if that's what's needed, then we will get you untied. But this is basically the safest way to get them secured and out of here, and just keep reassuring them they're doing fine and the team is doing what they can to get them to safety. Once the person's strapped in, we want to make sure, one, we're not going across an injury of any type with any of the straps that we're putting on them. So if they had an injured leg or something to that effect, or a pelvis that was injured, we don't want to put any straps across that. We don't want to cause any injury or more of an injury to that spot until they can get medical attention. So now we're going to talk about placing the webbing actually on the Stokes basket. And what we're going to do is, you've got your webbing, you've got a water knot in it, it's a loop. So what you're going to do is you're going to go down, and I'll have each one of you go down, and let's put the small loop through, keeping the knot close to the Stokes basket, but not in a spot to where it's going to interfere with your knot. And then you're just going to pass the rest of the loop or the rest of the webbing through. This way the knot is not up in your back or coming across your back, and you're not using the knot as part of what's holding on to the actual Stokes basket. So this is actually a lot stronger to do it this way. That way you know where the knot's at. And then once you get this on, then everybody is going to turn towards the head of the person, okay? And then you're going to take the strap and you're going to go over your back, and it's going to come to your outside arm. Once that's done, you're going to place your hand inside the loop of your webbing, because when you lift, you're going to actually grab the Stokes basket with your hand in the webbing, and when you stand up, you're going to push, and it's going to level out the Stokes basket on your body. So your arms are not cattywampus in any way. They're actually level, and you can actually walk better. So one of the things that comes about with this is you definitely have people of different heights. that are on your team. Not everybody is the same height, which, well, okay, if they were the same height, that would make things easier, but they're not. People are of varying heights. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that everything is leveled out the way it's supposed to be, so you're carrying the Stokes basket level. As you can see on this one, there's a lot more webbing out here for her than there is for Lance on his side. So what we're going to do here is she has kind of an idea where she wants this knot to be, and so she's going to tie an overhand knot in the webbing, okay, and then she's going to place her hand down inside of it and then check it to see, is that the right position for her to be in? So when she stands up, is both of her arms going to be not, you don't want them completely straight, but you want them flexed a little bit. So you're holding up on one hand, you're pushing down on the other, and your body is actually holding a majority of the weight of the actual Stokes basket across your shoulder. Okay, so at the point in which you're ready, everybody is there. They've all got their webbing on there. The person at the head is going to make sure that everybody is good, and they're going to call it out, and they're the ones that are going to be the ones leading everybody's movement.
All right, everyone, lift with your legs on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Very good. Now, at the point in which you're getting ready to now carry the patient out, you want to use commands that are easy to not get confused. We don't like to say the word go because that sounds like a lot like no. So if somebody starts yelling no, 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 and they think it's go, 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 then we end up with a problem. So we like to use the word move to take off and start moving, and then stop. Pretty self-explanatory. Everybody stop. Nobody do anything. Once you've stopped, don't do anything. Don't try to set them down. You're waiting for the instruction from the person at the head to make the decision on what's going to happen next. Now, one other thing, if a person trips and falls, or if somebody starts to go down, the person opposite your side needs to be aware of that. So if they see, for instance, like if Lance was to fall down and start to drop the Stokes basket, Kelly needs to compensate for that, not by lifting, but going down with Lance. So that way the patient doesn't get turned sideways, and all of a sudden now they feel like, hey, I'm strapped in here, and I'm going to end up on my face. And we don't want that to happen. So if for some reason Lance starts to fall, then all Kelly has to do is start going down to the ground and just kneeling down, and she can start yelling, stop, stop, stop. Anyone can stop this motion at any time. It does not mean that the person at the head has to do it the whole time. The only time the person at the head has to do it is if people are saying, hey, we need to take a break for a second. Okay, then let's stop up here on this flat spot. You get up to your flat spot. Okay, let's set them down on 3 and do it that way. Let's go ahead, and we're going to do the reverse, setting the person back down.
Okay. Down easy on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Now, if the person is a larger patient, you might need 6 people in here to work on the Stokes basket. So you want to make sure when you're putting your webbing in is that you have enough space between you so you can walk and you're not stepping on each other's feet. So you might find that Lance and Kelly here would be more up here towards the corner, closer to Mark, and then Ann and Molly would be back a little bit farther towards the feet, so that way 2 people in the center could get in there, and that way people have room to move around. If your patient is fairly light, like Uriah here, then 4 people is plenty to pick the person up and carry him out.
I hope you found this video useful. Again, I want to remind you that this was just an overview. It wasn't a detailed packaging video for dealing with injuries, spinal injuries, or extremity injuries. This was just kind of an overview, and we'll do another video in the future that has those specific injuries and how you deal with packaging with those. So hope you found this useful, and we'll see you out on the trail.